Hello everybody and welcome into the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series live from the desert. That's right, it's Phoenix Raceway. Getting ready for another good one here on tap tonight. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Drivers getting gridded up, getting ready to go here tonight for the first short track of the season. So with that knowledge, let's get right down trackside and get started with your pre-race ceremonies. Putting down the pole lap tonight, it's going to be Austin Fitzgerald. Remember how good he was during the championship last year? Things didn't work out due to technical issues. Boy, you know, he is going to want it bad tonight. He will roll off again from the pole spot. Ty Iopolito to his outside in second. That is a 1-2 start for Dynamic Autosports. Kyle Oakley back in third. It's going to be Tyler Marble to his outside in fourth. Wes Hurd Jr. in fifth with Jeff Marble back in sixth. Starting in row number 4 is going to be Quentin Clark. Outside of him, Adam Johnson. Andrew Mraz back in ninth. Rounding out your top 10 tonight is going to be Jake Hickson in the 16 car. Rolling off 11th is Jeff Shutt in the 27. Back in 12th is going to be Greg Bartlett in the 77. Row 7 tonight is going to be Cody Matthews and Jacob Musso. Thomas O'Hara starts 15th. Scott Glasso to his outside in 16th. It's going to be Ryan Shiro in 17th with Brian Coughlin 18th. And rounding out your top 20, well, if we can get it here tonight. And looks like we're not getting any further than this right now. Not sure what the issue is, but temporary freeze up. Nonetheless, we'll continue to talk about the rest of your grid here with the race info up instead. There we go. Moving out to the top 20 is Bill Benedict and Danny Gutierrez in 20th. 21st is going to be Roger Shelton. Back in 22nd is going to be Mark Zabak. Ryan Haynes, 23rd. Kenneth Bartholomew, 24th. Brandon R. Saylor in 25th. Matthew Geiringer in 26th. 27th, Todd Shiro. 28th, Jeffrey Souza. 29th, Jared Bundy. 30th, Andrew Russo. Johnny McCulchuk, 31st. Troy Baker, 32nd. Brett Spod, 33rd. Glenn Grigsby, 34th. Alan Pajari and Anthony Handley rounding out the field in 35th and 36th. Here we go. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Phoenix. Spreading out across the dogleg already. Doesn't take long here when you can utilize under that apron on a track that is this wide down the front stretch. But Austin Fitzgerald quickly able to roll out to a lead before they get to the entrance of turn number 1 and off of 2. No pressure right now behind for the 74. Meanwhile, out back, everybody still scrambling for position. Not sure if passing itself is going to be too easy to do here tonight, but whatever passage you need to make, I think the easiest time to do them, if you will, is going to probably be during these restarts. Seeing a lot of that right now as the 74 continues to separate a little bit of a gap between him and second place, which has now turned into a battle between Quentin Clark and Kyle Oakley in the 17. We do have driver cam tonight, Kyle being one of those. We'll take a look at those in just a little bit. Wesser Jr. settles in off of turn number 2. And it actually looked like a relatively clean start. Normally we see trouble. In fact, we do have a car slightly off pace here towards the back of the field. One off as well. That was Johnny McCulchuk with major right front damage. Oh my goodness, what has happened to the 72? This is night-ending damage potentially here. You saw the right front. It's completely broken off. I mean, he snapped the toe link. He hit something hard. I'm thinking it may have been the outside wall. And there you see it bouncing around there, the 72. This is not the start of the race that Johnny McCulchuk wanted to have, especially with the great run that he had last week at Vegas. And so, yeah, he's going to have to do just that. He'll take it to the pits here early. And again, this could be an early retirement for one of the No Excuses Racing drivers. Let's go back and see if we can't figure out exactly where it all goes wrong here for Johnny McCulchuk. Don't think it happened right on the green flag here. It happened just after now. Caution's out, so we're going to pause this thought as we've got trouble over here right now with Bill Benedict. The 90 just went around. This was just a minute ago. Oh, man, big hit. The 31 gets involved as well with nowhere to go of Matthew Geiringer. Was that? Well, we knew Brett Spod was in the pits already. I was trying to figure out the other car involved. That was Jeffrey Souza in the 96. And man, must have gave him a little bit of the announcer's jinx there. What looked like a really, really clean start for everybody. Quickly turned ugly here. Let's go back and break down everything that happened in these 2 laps so everybody gets this caution sorted out. So the first incident here, Brett Spod, by the way, you saw him make the initial start of the race, but I believe he had some sort of technical issue as he quickly went to the pits before they even completed lap 1, I do believe. This is the green flag, by the way, and the reason we're showing this from the start, nope, never mind. Brett Spod had trouble as well. Similar trouble, I'm guessing, to what Johnny McCulchuk had, and that's how he got the severe right front damage that he's going to sustain and immediately took it to the pits. So that explains what happened to the 35. Now the question is going to be what happened to the 72. Riding back. He was towards the back of the pack. Not the best qualifying effort, but see him sitting behind Jared Bundy there in the 3. Just behind the 6 as well there of Todd Shiro. Goes down on the dog leg. Goes to come back up and just gets loose. Slight overcorrection. I mean, a carbon copy of what just happened to Brett Spod less than a lap ago right off the start. And, you know, you use that dogleg to your advantage, but at the same time, when you transition from the dogleg back to the banking, there's a split second where at least 2 of the tires aren't on the ground, but you're still full throttle. And sometimes that can get you just a little bit of tire spin either for a split second or just get the car a little bit loose. And if you overcorrect it just ever too much, exactly what happens right there to Johnny McCulchuk. Tries to bail out, but just a little too late, and it was a hard enough hit that it did indeed break that right front toe link. He's able to pull down just behind Alan Pajari. Bring it down to the pits for some repairs, but he stayed out there. Feel like he realized he wasn't going to make it last second. And then the incident, about probably another 30 seconds after this, the one that actually brought out the caution, same exact thing. Bill Benedict goes down on the dogleg. These cars are so low to the ground, and with that rear diffuser that they have on the bottom, that diffuser hits the bottom of the racetrack. Or if the rear diffuser hits the racetrack, it can definitely get that car out of shape. I think that's what happened to Bill Benedict, and then man, Jeffrey Souza, nowhere to go, got blindsided on the T-bone. Couldn't see that one coming, and therefore had no chance to really miss it. Not sure about the damages to Benedict's car. Whatever it is, it's going to be all on the right side. But yeah, Souza is certainly really, really banged up. Front end is completely torn off. I think think he's going to have some suspension damage there as well. Let's take an onboard view here for Jeffrey Souza. Talked about how he never saw this one coming, really. You see the 90s right in that blind spot, in that pillar of view, and then trying to sneak by. Just fortunately no luck there for the 96 of Souza. It's a shame, too, for Jeffrey, because we saw what he was able to do at Vegas last week with coming all the way from the back. And fortunately not going to get the same opportunity here this week. So everybody goes for a slide, eventually comes to a halt. Take one more look at this from the chopper view. Back that up a little bit more and watch again. It's just ever so slight of the car stepping out here on the apron. He's trying to save it, but just overcorrects a little bit. And then everybody piles in with nowhere to go, including Matthew Gehringer. So as we go back live up front, lights on the pace car off. That means one lap to go before we're going to go back to green flag conditions. And it is Austin Fitzgerald being scored as your leader. Quentin Clark in second. Kyle Oakley back in third. Wesser Jr. in fourth. Andrew Mraz in fifth. Tyler Marble sixth. Jeff Shutt in seventh. Adam Johnson in eighth. Jeff Marble ninth. And Ty Iopolito rounding out your top 10. We didn't get a chance to do it right before the start, so we'll take a look real quick at what the race info was tonight. It was the Phoenix Spring 156 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. 156 laps was the scheduled distance. 100% fuel, 4 sets of tires, no fast repairs. Open setups, 3 green, white checkers. Track temp, 107 degrees. A little toasty, could cause some handling issues. Phoenix, less than 1.5 miles in length, but still a little bit over a mile. One of those really interesting tracks. Dogleg on the front stretch, no banking through turns 1 and 2, a little bit of banking through 3 and 4, and a lot of great racing all in all. That's what we're going to get for the rest of the night. Green flag back in the air, already more trouble. One around, I believe that might have been one of the Riot Motorsports cars. The 12, never mind, that's Wesser Jr. More trouble with Jeff Marble now getting involved. The 15 had a couple of pretty big shots in that wreck. And the early troubles at Phoenix are going to continue here just about 100 yards after we took the green flag again. I'm not sure if this one started with some contact or just a couple of guys getting out of shape, really racing hard. But Jeff Marble taking his car to the pits here for some repairs as well. The back end really beat up. Front end seems to be okay. And he does have a little bit of right front damage as well. Now, Phoenix, not a super aero-dependent track. However, you still need that car to be in relatively decent racing shape in order to have a chance at a win, which I'm not sure how well this 15 machine is going to perform the rest of the way as of now. There you see the driver cam. The disappointment early is not the way that Team Marble iRacing wanted the start of their race to go here tonight. And there's the 0-2 of Adam Johnson, one of the rookies. He's got heavy damage as well on the front end of his Dark Horse Ford Mustang. Just behind him, Wesser Jr. He got a little bit banged up in this as well. I believe he was one of the first cars to actually get sideways. So let's go take a look at actually who indeed it was that got out of shape first and how they got that way. So this is a look from the chopper view. And is it... That's not the best angle here. We're going to try the blimp cam instead. And as they get to the restart, ooh, the 97 had not went down yet. And Wesser Jr., I think, was maybe predicting that he was already going to go down. But, I mean, he doesn't have to go below the yellow if he doesn't want to. And I believe that the rule for tonight is you have to wait until you cross the start-finish line to go below the yellow. And maybe not. I mean, Austin Fitzgerald gets down there before that point. But, yeah, I mean... The 97 there, that is one of the Riot Motorsports teammates of Andrew Mraz, one of the rookies. Great run he was having last week at Vegas as well. All the guys that have had trouble early so far, just about, were all the top runners last week at Vegas. And taking a closer view, I think that's all it really is. I mean, I don't see the 97 moving up. I just think that Wesser Jr. was maybe expecting that Andrew Mraz was going to start turning down the racetrack, but he hadn't yet. Was maybe waiting until they got to the stripes. And so once the 12 starts to come down, 97's there, and the wreck ensues. You see everybody trying to dodge a couple of big hits. Saw one of the BMP racing cars. Not sure if that was Ryan Haynes or Brett Spott, if he was able to make it back out. But let's see how Jeff Marble ultimately gets himself collected in this one there. I think he was trying to dodge it on the bottom, and unfortunately he's going to get right into harm's way. Gets turned and just not really anywhere to go. Runs into the car in front and then gets tagged from behind as he washes up. Gets tagged in the side. Take another angle of this from TV3. So you see as they all duck low, the 0-2 of Adam Johnson gets tagged and then The 4 of Scott Glasso, nowhere to go, runs into Jeff Marble. Now you see the 08 of Danny Gutierrez. He's trying to find a spot to go. Everybody just trying to dodge. That's a big hit there as Danny Gutierrez ran into the back of Scott Glasso, sent him again into Jeff Marble. Then up the track he goes. And that's Ryan Haynes. Oh, man, so close to sneaking to the outside. Last second, nowhere to go. And that's going to collect another one of the Team Marble iRacing drivers in that wreck, with Brian Conklin there in the 37 getting involved late. So let's go take 1 or 2 more angles of this one. First from the TV static cam. And I did see somebody manage to sneak through this here. Barely. But it was a really, really nice job to miss it all. And I think it was... So everybody gets through it there. Still couldn't quite tell from that view. It looked like it might have been... I'm going to back this up one more time and see if we can't get a good angle here. Looks like that might have been the 9 car. Again, some of these guys with different paint schemes than what we're used to seeing out here tonight. But that is Mark Zabak. And watch how he somehow is able to miss this as the green flag's back in the air. So we're going to go back live. We'll take a look at that view in a little bit. Austin Fitzgerald with good restart. This time, everybody going to give a little bit more space as they fan down to the apron. But it gets back up on track clean. And I think with a couple of these early cautions, what you're probably going to get here is maybe guys taking a breather here, trying to settle it down at least for a couple laps. As Fitzgerald quickly is going to be able to start to pull a gap on second place, which is a battle right now between Kyle Oakley and Quentin Clark. Oakley on the inside, Clark on the outside. Who gets the advantage? The nose, if you will, here through turns 3 and 4. Looks like it is going to go to Quentin Clark on the outside. Carries phenomenal momentum. Jumps down to the dogleg. Gets clear before they get back to turn number 1. Trouble out back. The 9 goes around trying to save it in traffic. Now he's going to fully spin. Mark Zabak, who we were just talking about, had that phenomenal save, or rather wreck avoidance to miss the last wreck. He's going to get involved in this one. And that is the Canadian driver on the field. See a bumper further up. I don't think that was Mark's. May have had another car with pretty significant damage in this. So third caution, just 16 laps in here. The duel in the desert proven to be very, very tough so far here in the early going. But I think this is just going to be kind of more of the same of guys getting loose on the front stretch. Again, I mean, we talk about we call it a straightaway, but it's really not at the end of the day. It's a curved front stretch. And when you have a banking transition and a banked corner in general, there is room to make mistakes, and I think that's what's going to happen to the 9 here. I think he's just going to get loose, similar to what we saw for Bill Benedict earlier, Brett Spott, a couple others. And now, interesting enough, he actually goes the banking, so you would expect him to have even less problems than some of the guys that have been trying to cut the dog leg here. And watch this. I mean, it's a nice, steady wheel at you. That thing just snaps around on him. I mean, there's really nothing Mark can do there either. He tries to save it, but the whole field's packed together. But that's just really odd to see so many cars getting this loose this early in the front stretch. Wonder if it's partially the track temp. And, you know, just before that, a couple guys that caught my eye there, and you saw one of them in frame. The first one was actually Tyler Marble as he worked down the front stretch. His car had a little snap to it. Was wondering if maybe he was having a little bit of the same issue. And then watch the 24. He's going to have the same problem here. Watch the back end there. Starts to snap out. He was quickly able to get it back together. But then, you see, once Mark gets out of shape, trying everything to save it, but just runs out of room there. The 73 of Kenneth Bartholomew, another one of the rookies. He's got nowhere to go. The 12 of Wester Jr. was involved in the last wreck. He gets involved in this one too, unfortunately. So this one, again, no fast repair. So if you get involved in one of these wrecks and you've got bad enough damage, as we've already seen for a couple guys early, there's a chance that it potentially puts an end to your race here before we even get to the halfway point. You see the contact. I was trying to figure out how somebody else lost a bumper further up here. I'm not seeing exactly where that bumper came from, so everybody was able to continue on, drive around. Nonetheless, again, puts us under caution for the third time here tonight and starting to throw a couple wrenches in the strategy overall tonight. I mean, looking at fuel, it's 100%. Lap-wise, not sure the exact number. The point is, though, only 4 tire sets laying around in the pits, plus the one, of course, that you've got on now. 5 tire sets in total. But maybe you thought on one of those early cautions, all right, I'll come down, take tires, go back out. But if we keep getting this many cautions this early in the going, you got to start saving yourself some tire, or excuse me, a couple of sets of tires rather, because you're going to need them for the green flag stops that we're still expecting at some point in this race. So we're expecting the lights on the pace car to go off this next time around. The green flag will come back in the air. And it is indeed Austin Fitzgerald still being scored as your leader. Quentin Clark second. Kyle Oakley third. Tyler Marble in fourth. Jeff Shutt fifth. Jacob Musso in sixth. Ty Polito in seventh. Jake Hickson in eighth. These two of the Dynamic Autosports drivers. Greg Bartlett back in ninth. Rounding out your top 10 right now is Roger Shelton. Another one of, I believe, the rookies we have in the field. Cody Matthews in 11th. Ryan Shiro 12th, Thomas O'Hara in 13th, Brandon R. Saylor in 14th, Jared Bundy rounding out your top 15. Let's see if we can get a quick update as we get ready to go back green here on how some of the other guys are looking. Earlier with the heavy damage, Johnny McCulchuk was able to return back out on track. Bad news is that he is multiple laps down, at least for the current moment. Anthony Handley in the 98, don't believe ever made it out on track or never made it back out on track if he did make the start due to an issue on something that happened to his car as well. And then Ryan Haynes still sitting on the pits after the damage he sustained in an earlier wreck. Jeffrey Souza working his way back out of the pits, still trying to get the front end back on that car. Jeff Marble has made it back out. Looks like his repairs are continuing to develop nicely. Ryan Conklin as well. So a lot of damaged cars. Brett Spod, Scott Glasso, Bill Benedict that are sitting at the back of the field. And I know it's still early, but this thing's starting to look more and more like a war of attrition as you see Kenneth Bartholomew in the middle of the pack there. No front bumper. He's going to try it anyway. Here we go, back into the Geico restart zone. Third restart of the night. Green flag is back in the air at Phoenix. It's a good restart overall. Fitzgerald, same strategy. He's going to jump down, go all the way just about to the wall in the dogleg, trying to get a run to get clear of Quentin Clark. And he's going to be able to do just that as they roll through 1 and 2. The 00, though, is trying to roll the outside, and he's hanging on pretty well for now. It's a drag race off at 2. Quentin Clark was able to stay side by side. So now Fitzgerald has a choice. Does he dive in, or does he try to conserve these tires and play it patient early? Looks like he's not going to fight Quentin Clark too hard for it. The 74 is going to dive all the way down. Again, through the dogleg, trying to stay even with the 00. Not going to be able to do it. It looks like this time, further back, everybody able to get through the dogleg a little bit cleaner. 3 wide right here, the 97 in the middle of it all. Andrew Mraz. Ooh, it's going to get really tight off at 2. Jared Bundy on his inside. Just on the outside there, I believe, was Thomas O'Hara, but they all make it work, and they'll go back to 2 wide. Actually, I'll take it back. That was the 10 of Cody Matthews, who was on his outside off 2, but they get back to 2 by 2. Keep it clean. Wall up front, change of hand for the lead. 00 of Quentin Clark. First laps being led for him tonight. He's already seen how much speed a couple of his teammates have had. He's had some speed himself, but still looking to capture that first win and tack on a second win for Riot Motorsports after the rookie got the job done last week. Michael Mueller, that was. 17 of Kyle Oakley, third. Looked like he may have missed the corner right there a little bit, and that's going to open the door for Tyler Marble. No, he slams the door as he cuts the dogleg. Marble may have had to bail just ever so slightly right there. 27 of Jeff Shutt, the teammate to Johnny McCulchuk for No Excuses Racing. See right now on the inside of Tyler Marble, he's going to slot in line just in front of Jacob Musso. Musso's going to try to make a pass here as well. So far, I don't know if I would say we've seen a ton of passing. I mean, we of course have on the restarts. That was expected, but overall, I don't think we're going to get a chance to necessarily tell how much passing to expect until we start to get maybe towards the longer portion of this run. And because right now, as it stands, I mean, both lanes are making momentum. The inside's been working, the outside's been working. But it's Quentin Clark who actually utilized the outside line to get clear of Fitzgerald on that restart. As they cross the stripe this time, it'll be 25 laps complete. Still a long ways to go. Still quite a few green flag pit stops expected as well. But now that things seem like they've maybe settled down at least a little bit for a moment, let's go back and take a look at some of the other driver cams that we have here on the night. And unfortunately, a couple of them are the guys that had issues early and are still trying to recover. Ryan Haynes being one of them. Looks like he has got the damage mostly repaired on his 39 BMP Motorsports machine. But he is still going to need a lot of help here if he wants any chance at even getting back on the lead lap at this point. Driver out of Center Hill, Florida. Again, currently sitting in that 34th position, qualified up in 23rd. It's definitely more speed than he was able to show tonight after getting involved in that early wreck. And then just behind him, Johnny McCulchuk for No Excuses Racing was able to get his damage fixed, but currently runs in 35th. So looking just to see if he can kind of scrap any points that he can for the rest of the way. Not much else he can do at this point. Still way too many laps down to most likely get back on the lead lap, you would think, unless he were to get just a ton of cautions at this point the rest of the way. But can't rule it out with some of the racing that we've seen here early. And then last but certainly not least, going more towards the front end of the field, it's Tyler Marble for Team Marble iRacing. See in front of the 27 there of Jeff Shutt. He's got his sight set on Kyle Oakley, but not been able to catch, at least not the last couple laps. You wonder if he's maybe saving a little tire right now. Remember, he actually won Phoenix here last year in the championship race. Maybe not the most proud way of doing it, but nothing intentional. Got the job done. I believe some of the things were changed after, but my point is that we know that the 48 is going to have speed here tonight. In fact, anybody that was in your championship 4 that we see back this season is going to have speed. That includes Austin Fitzgerald, Austin Fitzgerald, Tyler Marble, and of course Jeff Marble as well. So as everybody works down through turn 3 and 4, crossing the stripe this time, up in the lead still, Quentin Clark. And I'm trying to look back here. I mean, everything has just about gotten single file out. We saw a pass there just a moment ago. I believe that might have been Ty Iopolito on the 06, or on the 19 rather. Yeah, excuse me, the 16 got it mixed up there from his teammate, actually, Jake Hickson. Dynamic Auto Sports doesn't run similar schemes. I mean, nobody really does in this, but boy, the start they have had on the season, with of course all the speed they brought to Speed Weeks, especially through the Clash, and then the Capital Auto Daytona 250, and then through the first couple races after that. And Jake Hickson almost made it 3 wins in a row. If he could have won last week at Vegas, came close, but just didn't quite have enough at the end. Got out-dueled there by the Riot Motorsports rookie of Michael Mueller. 30 laps now complete here at Phoenix Raceway. Let's take a ride on board further back here with actually Danny Gutierrez, show you exactly what the breakdown here of Phoenix looks like. Now, we talked about it just briefly in the race info, but look at the track map there on your top right. And then also watch the dashboard gear shifting and speeds. And yes, that's right, there is a little bit of shifting here at Phoenix. This is open setup, so guys have the option to make whatever sort of gearing ratio they would like. And as it stands right now, looks like Danny Gutierrez stays in 4th down the entirety of the back straightaway. But as they get onto the front stretch here, this is the high-speed portion of the track. And even though it's considered a short track, watch the speeds that they actually still get up to here. As he doesn't shift, he's got his gear ratio set up so that he can just max it out in 4th, making it a little bit easier. And sometimes when you don't do a lot of shifting, it helps out with tire wear, especially in the long run, as those back tires aren't getting used up as much. Every time you go to shift, is some smoke there just in front of your leader who we're on board with now, Quentin Clark. Somebody may have had a lockup or a near spin just the lap before this. Let's see, does he shift? He sure enough does. There's the 5th gear. Shift down the front straightaway, gets in the corner, rolls until he's slowed up enough to where he feels like it's good to go to 4th. And now countering that, Austin Fitzgerald. Let's see if he's running just about the same gearing or if he's got something a little different. He currently sits about half a second behind your leader for the moment. See, hugging the yellow, getting into the corner, 3 and 4 at least, a lot sooner than the 00 is. Gonna wear out maybe a little bit more front tire, where the 00 might be wearing out a little bit more rear tire. And now Austin Fitzgerald starting to track him down. You see, stuck in 4th gear there down the front stretch that time. And so used to be where they're at right now in the back straightaway. This is where the start-finish line used to be, and so the back straightaway was where the dog leg was. But once they changed it, reconfigured the grandstands here a little bit, they also changed where the start-finish line was. And honestly, I think it's provided some great racing as a result ever since. As now the 17 of Kyle Oakley is pulling himself back up into the battle as well. He sits in 3rd. He is currently right where he started this race at. Phenomenal qualifying effort. And of all the tracks, don't know if a lot of guys were expecting the 17 to have the speed on the short track first of any, but man, Oakley is rolling so far here tonight right now. He's got the Ryco sponsorship on there. That is one of the SWM Motorsports drivers. He's got a couple teammates is up front going around one of the lappers here early on. I believe I can tell exactly who that was. But further back, Kenneth Bartholomew in 20th, up 4 from where he started, even with all the damage he sustained. And so when I was mentioning earlier that Phoenix doesn't rely too much on aerodynamics, look no further than the 73 car. Looks like a modified right now, but he's still out there running. And again, still running not too bad inside the top 20. And if we get another caution, maybe able to repair some more of that damage. The one thing that you really can't afford to do unless you're just okay with losing a bunch of track position is try to get damage similar to what we just saw right there on the 73, fixed under a green flag stop. Just takes too long. As Quentin Clark blinks a little bit there, coming through 3 and 4. And Al Fitzgerald's going to have some company here. Looks like Tyler Marble and Kyle Oakley have arrived on scene, and they want to go to the front. Oakley Not quite on the back bumper just yet, but Tyler Marble certainly is on the back bumper of the 17. He's going to have a move to make here, and he's going to take it all the way down to the dogleg, see if he can't get clear of Oakley. See, does Kyle let him go? No, he doesn't. He's going to stick it on his door here through turns 1 and 2. Tyler trying a little bit of a slide job right there. He couldn't quite make it work. You see Oakley here was gnawing at the steering wheel. He is trying everything he can to try to stay along. Oh my goodness, that was a really, really close moment right there for Kyle Oakley, and Tyler Marble almost made contact. It would have sent the 17 around. And it looks like as they work their way off of 4 this time, finally Tyler Marble's going to get clear on the exit of the dogleg. So he will pull back up in line. Continue on here. Kyle Oakley settles in just in front of Jeff Shutt. The 95 of Jacob Musso, the 16 of Jake Hickson. Ty Iopolito in the 19, just behind him, the 97 of Andrew Mraz. And then the 08 of Danny Gutierrez. Danny on a little bit of a winless streak right now, and a little surprised to say that at the least, because we know how much speed he had last season, how far he got in the playoffs, in terms of how far he went in the playoffs, rather. Of course, your Daytona winner had a lot of speed, almost was able to get the win at Daytona this season. Fortunately, cars did not quite play out right on the last lap, but again, showing you that he's got a lot of speed when we go to the plate tracks. Still looking to see if he can work a little bit more on the speed here on some of the shorter tracks, but and Danny's, in all fairness to Danny, I mean, the team that he had last year, JBRE Racing, no returners this season. Richard Elliott, Joshua Watson, Brian Watson not here, so Danny Gutierrez, no teammates at the moment. Now, we did hear rumors at the start of the season that he would be joining Team Marble iRacing at some point. Not sure if that's became official yet or not, but even if he's working with those guys, you know he's going to continue to get better and better as we go through the stretch of the season. I mean, still only in the early portions right now, first handful of races, so still a long ways to go before we even start talking about the playoff picture. All we know right now is who's leading early in points, who's leading early in rookie points, and what races we've got coming up shortly. Jeffrey Souza, another one of the cars that was not able to actually get the front end of his Ford Dark Horse Mustang back on, and you see him running up there by the outside safety barrier, just trying to tick off laps here, hold on to any extra points that he can get. And Ryan Haynes just behind him in 34th. 39 with a little bit less damage. We'll see if he can get to the 96 here and try to make a pass within the next couple laps. Back up front, keeping an eye on the battle for the lead. Can't quite throw your first 3 under a blanket just yet, although you could a couple of laps ago. Now it's started to stretch back out, and you wonder, again, as we've seen time and time again, we saw it last week at Vegas, we're seeing it again tonight. The veteran presence here of Austin Fitzgerald, maybe having that sixth sense, knowing, don't burn your stuff up early, save a little tire. This car is going to come to me later in the run. And it seems like, from what we've seen so far, Dynamic Autosports, they like bringing long-run setups to just about any track that we've went to, especially the short tracks where it's a lot more technical and a lot more in the driver's hands. And now that Fitzgerald has started to get a little bit further on in this run, see he is tracking down your leader, Quentin Clark, who now has officially led the most laps on the night, by the way, but he's got the gap down to almost 0.2 of a second now. Just about 2 car lengths as they dive into turn 3. 17 of Kyle Oakley, who lost that spot. Tyler Marble still fending off the 27 of Jeff Shutt and still currently sitting in that 4th position. He dives down to the dogleg. Jacob Musso, what a good run he's having. Again, have not seen any of his teammates making a return up to this point on the season, but that is one of the Musso Speed Shop drivers out of Caddo, New York. He's got the rookie behind him, Jake Hickson, not applying a lot of pressure himself, but as Oakley and Jeff Shutt now get side by side, how does this change the move here that the 95 thinks about making? If he can get a run while these two are side by side, he might be able to split him here on the dog leg. And it looks like he's got a run, but he's not going to quite be able to split both. He'll take one, though, as he follows the 27 of Jeff Shutt around Kyle Oakley. That pushes Oakley back to that 6th position. So now we're starting to see whose cars are better in the long run. We already have a pretty good idea of whose cars were fast on the short run. And everybody that's starting to struggle now going to be hoping that we can get to this first green flag stop of the night sooner rather than later. But it is 46 laps complete, so I believe that everybody can still go a decent amount of time before you're going to have to make that first pit stop here of the night. Tyler Marble still sitting 3rd. Jeff Shutt up to 4th. Jacob Musso in 5th. Kyle Oakley 6th. Jake Hickson 7th. Ty Iopolito in 8th. Andrew Mraz in 9th. And Danny Gutierrez rounding out your top 10, but maybe looking to break to the top 9 right here if he can get around the 97. Drag race down the backstretch. Ooh, Danny's really pinning it on his quarter panel. Trying to do anything he can to hold the 97 back. The side draft not going to be nearly as effective here at a track like Phoenix as it would as, say, maybe Daytona or Talladega, but Still may be able to get a little bit of effect, try to slow down that car on the outside just ever so much. And you see there, kind of tried to force the 97 up the track just a little bit, and it worked out well. He was able to get clear, and it almost looked a little bit like a slide job. And now that he's picked up that position, it puts him right back to 9th. Up front, well, now Austin Fitzgerald is officially on the back bumper of Quentin Clark. A little bit of lap traffic that they just worked their way around. That was the 4 of Scott Glasso. So now Fitzgerald has gotten there. Harder part here is going to be how does he make the move. Going to take a peek to the outside here. Not going to matter, though, because caution is out. Looking for where the trouble was. Ooh, I hear it in 1 and 2. Not sure who hit the wall, though. Getting reports that it may have been Andrew Mraz in the 97. Yeah, it certainly looks like it fits that alibi, as you see some definitely pretty significant right front damage there to the 97. So as he works his way on the backstretch, maybe even some left front damage there. Didn't notice anybody else involved initially, but same story as we've seen so many times here already tonight. We're going to see it yet again here as the 97 goes to the dogleg. Transition back up, car gets loose. And it actually looks like he is able to save it, but he's still wobbling around just a little bit. And unfortunately, as he's wobbling around, what you're going to see happen here is the 3 of Jared Bundy trying to merge back onto the track, not expecting the 97, of course, to be loose and be there. And they just kind of collide in the middle, and that sends the 97 around. It's going to send him pretty hard into the outside wall there. Where he slides here, he's trying to save it from hitting the wall again. Does a pretty good job. He's able to keep it up the track as well to prevent any further damage. Give you another look here from TV1. Actually, we'll go to the cockpit view first. Show you his hands here as he's trying to save this thing. Again, initially it was a really good save. Unfortunately, though, just wrong place at the wrong time for the 3 of Jared Bundy is what cost the 97 to go fully around there. And then overall good save, getting on the brakes, locking it up, keeping it off the wall. So it looks like the 97 will be able to go in, just get that bandaged up and right back out and still potentially have a decent piece to run with. Of course, not as good, obviously, as without the damage, but a couple cautions get him back towards the middle of the pack, front of the field, and may still have a chance at a top 10, top 15 here before this thing's all said and done tonight. So back up front, it is still Quentin Clark being scored as your leader, Austin Fitzgerald in second, Tyler Marble in third, Jeff Shutt fourth, Kyle Oakley fifth, Jacob Musso sixth, Danny Gutierrez in seventh, Ty Iopolito in eighth, Jay Kicks in ninth, and Jared Bundy rounding out your top 10. Well, the pace car comes around. Looking to see, are we going to get the one to go signal? I believe we are. And nope, lights are going to stay on, so we'll go at least 2 more. With that knowledge, we're going to take our first break tonight. We will go side by side. Stick with us at Phoenix. Welcome back to Phoenix Raceway live for the Phoenix 156 and the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. So far, 53 laps complete. That puts us just at about 104 to go here in the desert. On the inside, it's going to be Quentin Clark, Austin Fitzgerald. So they will arrive back into the Geico restart zone. Put the hammer down. Fourth restart of the night. Green flag is back in the air. This time it's a pretty even restart. The 00 not going to be able to get clear here of the 74 before they get to turn number 1. Further back, everybody fanning out 2 and 3 wide. We talked about it at the tip of the broadcast, but these restarts, these are key. If you want to make up track position, you need to get them in the first couple laps on these restarts, and then you want to settle in and try to save some tire. That's what we saw Austin Fitzgerald doing so far all night. It's been working well. A little bit of a snack up further back. Adam G. Johnson had to get on the brakes right there to avoid running into the back. I believe Wes Hurd Jr. just in front of them, the 42. Alan Pajari. A couple of close calls there for a couple of different guys. Pajari rolling the outside right now, picking off a couple of different positions. The 77. Greg Bartlett as well, trying to work the top groove. Cold tires just as tricky as old tires here. So these first couple laps are the sketchiest of them all. And that's when guys are still ducking down to the dogleg trying to make anything work now. Notice that Fitzgerald and Quentin Clark almost the opposite this time around. Fitzgerald quickly able to take the lead and already pulling away, where Quentin Clark falling back. The last restart, we saw that, but Quentin Clark was the man who took the lead and started pulling away, where Fitzgerald was the one who fell back and started saving. So you got to think that maybe Austin Fitzgerald feels like he needs this clean air enough to the point where he's willing to try to hold on to it during the short run and then have the advantage of it during the long run. They have now officially crossed the line to complete 57 laps. That makes it 100 laps to go here at Phoenix. Just a little bit over 100 miles left. 27, Jeff Shutt maybe going to take a peek to the inside of these two if they keep battling as hard as they are for the moment. 27 is going to jump back, tuck in line. Further back, looked like Danny Gutierrez had to jump in line as well. Still 2x2 is the 42 and the 24. That's Roger Shelton alongside Brandon R. Saylor, the 77. Of Greg Bartlett, he is still rolling the top as well. Wesser Jr. is going to duck down, maybe think about 3 wide. No move there to be made. He has to get back in line as well. Now he's going to duck down through turns 1 and 2. Back up front, though, to 00, Quentin Clark was able to get back clear of Tyler Marble. Now he's starting to close back in on the back bumper now of Austin Fitzgerald. Taking a cockpit view here with the rookie Quentin Clark. See how these guys' lines differ again. Even though it is a short track, clean air does still matter a little bit, especially with how aerodependent these next-gen cars are in comparison to what NASCAR's always ran prior to these. But looks like from that view that Quentin Clark is rolling in the corner a little bit deeper so that he can pinch it down on exit and get a run down the straightaway. And he gets a very good run down the backstretch. We'll see if he can get a similar run down the front stretch. See, he's able to go into the corner a little bit later than Austin Fitzgerald. And again, I believe that's going to give him a lot more speed here, especially on the short run. The concern for me, if the 00 starts to come in on the long run, if you're backing up all those corners and trying to get the car to rotate more sooner on exit, got to think you're going to be burning up a little bit more rear tire. So Quentin Clark, he knows his clean air is important. And he's certainly willing to use up a little tire for it as he tried to jump to the inside there off of 4. Fitzgerald had the momentum and he had to back off. Going even further back, looks like now mostly single file. We got a couple cars, like actually that was Thomas O'Hara that actually missed the groove a little bit. Now Adam Johnson's going to slip up in line in front of the 10 of Cody Matthews. The 64 of Glenn Grigsby, one of the independent drivers right now, just in front of the 9 of Mark Zabak. On the outside of these two is the 88 of Andrew Russo. Troy Baker, haven't had a chance to really call him out yet tonight, but one of the rookies who's going in the positive direction. He's up 6 positions where he started this race at. And he currently stands in that 26th spot for the moment. So now, when is going to be that next? And I believe it would be the final green flag pit stop, depending on when these guys do indeed have to go. And if they can make it to maybe right around lap 100, then I think they're going to be good to make this thing on probably right about a 1 stop if the tires can hold up. That's the other big question. And the amount of wrecks that we've seen earlier, the amount of restarts, the amount of chances to go in and take tires, you got to wonder for how many different guys are those tires going to hold up the entirety of the run. Quentin Clark loses that position again to Austin Fitzgerald, who made the move work there down the front straightaway. So now Quentin Clark again, does he continue to try to fight back here against 74? Does he settle in? See if he can't conserve some tire and try to have a chance at him here later just before time for green flag pit stops. Tyler Marble back in third, Jeff Shutt in fourth. There's the 17 of Kyle Oakley still hanging out inside your top 5. Been a great night for him so far. And Danny Gutierrez really taking advantage of this previous restart. He's up 14 in total on the night in 6th. Going all the way to the back. 2x2 still, the 42 and the 12, Wes Hurd Jr. Along with Brandon R. Saylor, excuse me, actually the 42 machine of Roger Shelton. Alan Pajari is going to take a look to the inside of the 42 as well. The 97, Andrew Mraz is going to try to follow that move on the inside. We'll see if he's able to make it work and get clear. He's not able to. Pajari was, as he dives way down into the dog lane there. Tries to jump back up, still not quite clear. Now the dog leg's interesting because remember, if you have momentum up top, it's not a guarantee that you're going to get clear, but all you're basically doing, of course, is taking the shorter way around, taking the shortest way around possible. And so far early on, I mean, guys haven't been willing to go too far down on the dog leg, but I mean, watch Austin Fitzgerald here. See, he just cuts the dog leg ever so slightly there, not trying to wear out the tires any more than he needs to, or start banging up that front splitter. It could potentially get him tight as this race goes on if it were to get messed up too bad. But I want you to watch when he comes back down the front straightaway here at just how many lane options there are available. I know he's choosing, again, kind of the general, right in the middle, sweet spot, but the top, you can make it work if you got momentum, and if you duck down again below the dog lane, you go all the way to the wall on the inside. You can certainly make up a little more ground. No boundaries at any point in Phoenix. That includes turns 1 and 2 right here. So if he wants to go way below the yellow, he is inclined to do so. Right now, of course, no real reason to for the 74. He's got a good line right now. It's working as he has now stretched the gap between him and second up to almost 0.4 of a second as they go through 3 and 4. Tyler Marble trying to close in on this battle. We saw this from him during that last medium length stint where he was able to close up on the leaders, but then ultimately faded a bit at the end. So you wonder if he's got a good short to mid-run car. And then towards the longer portion of the run, we'll see if he was able to make any adjustments to get that 48 machine a little bit better. Jacob Musso, Taio Polito, and Jake Hickson all the way back here, just around the top 10 region, battling for it. Andrew Mraz, there's the 77 of Greg Bartlett. Still 2x2, 4 cars in total just behind them. Adam Johnson was leading that little, I don't want to say pack, but little group, if you will. But it has been all Austin Fitzgerald and Quentin Clark from just about the drop of the green flag of this race. So far it was Quentin Clark who had the most laps, but it may not be for much longer here with the amount of laps that Fitzgerald has now ticked off since he has been leading. They're going to be coming to complete lap 70 when they cross the start-finish line this time. And again, no stage breaks here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, so if you make a mistake, it's on you, and it could definitely potentially bring your night to an end. Even though we are still not even quite at the halfway marker just yet. Heavy braking zone in 3 and 4. You see the fire out of the pipes for Jacob Musso. The 19 of Taio Polito. I think maybe he's getting a little impatient. He knows he's got a teammate in Jake Hickson behind him. I think these two might be slightly faster than Jacob Musso right now, but the problem is, again, it's easy to get to a guy. It's a lot harder to try to pass him, especially if he doesn't want to give up that spot. And with Jacob Musso having a top 10 run going right now, I don't know that he necessarily wants to give up any extra spots if he doesn't have to. Tyler Marble now right on the back bumper here of Quentin Clark. Looking like this is going to be the battle for second here any moment. Quentin Clark still rolling, trying to get any grip he can, whatever, for all he's worth, if you will. But the problem is, I think maybe he just used up his stuff a little bit too much there right off the start. Not only getting around, but being able to kind of pull away there from Austin Fitzgerald in the 74. When I say the start, by the way, of course, I mean the start of this run. So he still sits in second for the moment. Tyler Marble did fade off just a couple car lengths there down the back straightaway. It is still Austin Fitzgerald who is leading. So expecting, again, one more green, for anybody just tuning in, first of all, we appreciate you being here. And again, we are expecting one more green flag pit stop, assuming that we go green the rest of the way. The question is going to be when exactly that number is. And we have a pretty good idea that it's probably somewhere right around lap 100-ish. Maybe we'll say give or take 5 laps, but not going to know the specifics until we see the strategy play out right in front of us here at Phoenix. And again, this will be the track that these guys all come back to for the championship for. to round out the season, crown a champion. Joshua Watson got the job done last season, did not return this season. And so now you know that no matter what happens, not going to get a back-to-back champion. And who feels like their name is up next on the list to be crowned a FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series champion? Right now, your first four all still within 2 seconds of each other, but Fitzgerald has pulled away over a second almost now from second place Quentin Clark. Again, I think Fitzgerald just made sure that he played it safe and tire, only going for the passes when he knew he could get them complete so that he could maintain clean air. Definitely showing a lot more speed than even that last stint here, by this time being in front of the pack and having clean air. And I think if you're Quentin Clark right now, can't be feeling too bad. There might be just a minor adjustment or some area that they're just slightly off with in terms of the car right now from being able to go back up there and catch Austin Fitzgerald. Again, he had the short run speed and had a little bit of medium run speed, but the long run here seems like the 00 is starting to fade off just a little bit, at least in terms of race winning speed, not so much in terms of a good finish, in terms of getting a good finish speed. But so 76 of 156 laps now complete here in the desert, and with Austin Fitzgerald up front, we're going to take another break. Stay with us. We will be right back at Phoenix.
I'm Rob Wheely, and I'm the CEO of Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists. We're the world's largest provider of wheel refinishing, remanufacturing, and wheel replacement. My dad was a car enthusiast, always working on cars of his own and new projects. That passed down to me, and it still grows with me today. Wheels have become the jewelry of the car. People want their wheels to look nice. We provide basic refinishing of wheels. We have remanufacturing facilities that provide extensive repair. We also have put all of our processes through an independent facility that's accredited. You can find those certifications on our website. We do it all. You bring your wheel to us and we'll figure it out. We strive for not just customer service experience, but customer excellence. We want to wow them so they come back each and every time. All of our technicians are trained and certified. We even have a master training course. It's important to love what you do. It's important to make employees feel a part of the team, and they're seeing the same rewards as you do. That's what helps us accomplish our goal. Everybody's our customer. The retail public, dealerships, body shops, insurance companies, warranty companies. We have a claims department. We're the ones that they call to come in and repair it. So if you find yourself in need of wheel refinishing, wheel repair, wheel replacement, or if you just want to custom color your wheels, give us a call. We'll help you find the right location, or you can go to our website. There's a locator on there to find the location closest to you.
Back live at Phoenix Raceway. You're watching the Phoenix Spring 156 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. 84 of 156 laps now complete. No real change of a rake, at least in terms of your lead. Austin Fitzgerald still out in front and by a good margin. Quentin Clark second, Jeff Shutt in third, Danny Gutierrez in fourth, Tyler Marble fifth. We did see a little bit of battling between a couple of these guys, but that was just about it. Jeff Shutt, Tyler Marble specifically, but Danny Gutierrez, we'd brought him up a couple times so far throughout the race, but man, this car's got a ton of long run speed right now. He has continued to claw his way through the field. He is now up to fourth and looking like he's not going to stop there if he keeps making up ground here. So 8 may have a chance here at potentially a podium finish here tonight. Maybe a chance to win depending on how the cards fall if he can keep this pace up. Problem for these guys is the pace that Austin Fitzgerald is laying down right now, and it is a very, very fast one. Up front, he's got the gap up to 3 seconds over Quentin Clark, the rookie who runs second. And in fact, if we take a view of the lap times here, 29.454 for Fitzgerald that last lap, and a almost 0.3 of a second, or excuse me, a 1/10 of a second faster every lap. 1 to 2/10 rather, actually 1 to 3/10, except for that last lap. Fitzgerald was a bit slower, maybe made a bit of a mistake, but nonetheless, the point is he is continuing to put a gap on second place. And at this point, if you're Austin Fitzgerald, similar to what we said last season for the championship, before things start to go wrong, you're just saying, guys, can we please keep this thing clean and green all the way to the finish? By the way, anybody that's tuning in tonight, if you don't mind, please let me know how the audio and video all sounds and looks together. If anything's too loud, too quiet, looks blurry, certainly appreciate it, and appreciate everybody that's tuning in here on the night. Feeling a little bit... Oh, caution is out. And so whatever strategy we just had in mind for Austin Fitzgerald is going to go out the window as 31 and Matthew Geiringer, the car involved. Saw he immediately tried to get it looped back around and going in the right direction, but then realized that the field was still coming in hot, so good job there locking up the brakes to make sure he didn't run down into traffic. Let's go see how the 31 gets into trouble. If this, I wouldn't be surprised here, based on the area it happened, if this is the exact same potentially some of the incidents we've seen earlier, or is this one going to maybe be a little different and involve a little help from the 97? Yeah, that's going to involve some help. Big help, to say the least there. You see the 97, that's Andrew Mraz. I think he's just getting tight here, and he's trying to jerk the wheel enough to get off of the outside wall, to keep it off the outside wall, and then it gets a little loose on him. Yeah, maybe not so much. I think he's just trying to drive it off the outside wall, and at the same time, Matthew Geiringer was trying to run up the track a little bit, of course, trying to carry that momentum. Just another kind of racing incident there. Mraz, once he comes down, he hooks the 31 into the outside wall. A little bit lucky right there for Matthew Geiringer based on where he hit the wall. And I know that sounds a little bit contradictory, but if he would have hit the wall here probably about 10 feet sooner, notice how the wall is straight right there. If he hits it right there, that's going to be major, major damage, but it banks and almost curves outward with the track. And you see it definitely softens the impact a little bit. Maybe going to do a little bit less damage to the nose of his Toyota Camry versus if he would have hit the wall straight on. So nobody else hits him as he comes to a sliding halt and was able to get it back going in the right direction. Get a couple more views of this one here. And I think just about every wreck that we have seen tonight, if not every wreck, has happened on the front straightaway. Interesting little tidbit in of itself. Get one more shot at this here from the blimp cam. And nothing that Matthew Geiringer could really do there. I mean, maybe the 97 maybe was expecting him to turn down a little sooner, but overall I think he was just trying to keep the car from getting on the wall and then trying to straighten it out. Andrew Mraz that was, and then just bad place. The wrong place, wrong time rather for Matthew Geiringer, and the rest is history. So it looks like Geiringer is hoping that he's going to get the free pass right here by staying out, as is multiple others, including two of the BMP Motorsports teammates, Jeff Marble. And so if we go back to your leader, it is Austin Fitzgerald. Everybody did come in to take 4 tires and fuel, by the way, during that pit stop, as that, I believe, was our longest run of the night, at least green flag run. Jeff Shutt back in second. Danny Gutierrez rounding out the podium for the moment. Good track position gain for him. We'll see if he's able to hold on to it. Jacob Musso back in 4th. Tyler Marble 5th. Kyle Oakley in 6th. Quentin Clark 7th. Jay Kickson in 8th. Jared Bundy 9th. And Wes Hurd Jr. rounding out your top 10. We'll tell you what, Jeff Shutt maybe playing a little bit of strategy. Whether that's the case or not, he's got himself up to 2nd. He's had speed so far all night. And actually, yeah, I mean, not much strategy in the sense of he was up here inside the top 5. And actually, I believe it just broken maybe into that 2nd position recently before we had the caution. He's been in the podium as well. Let's see if we can get a quick word here just before we go back green. Hey, Jeff, this is Austin in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, I know you guys are getting ready to go green, but real quick, something's working well tonight. The 27's up to 2nd. What's the strategy the rest of the way?
Just take care of my stuff. Take it nice and easy on the throttle. Just try to not get caught up in the racing at the beginning.
It's been looking good so far. Still a lot of calamity to go. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we're talking to you at the end of this.
Thank you, sir.
Brief words there. It's one of the no excuses racing drivers, and you know, I wish we had a little bit more time, but Phoenix, of course, is a short track, so the one to go signal doesn't give us too much time to do a 1 lap to go interview there. But nonetheless, green flag back in the air. 93 laps complete at Phoenix. Fitzgerald diving all the way down to the bottom of the dogleg. Restarts can only continue to get more and more aggressive from this point now. As every restart, you start to ask yourself, could this be the last restart? And if it is, I need to get all the track position that I can get. No passing up for the front 4. Down the back straightaway. Further back, though, there was some side-by-side action. Looked like it's the 3 of Jared Bundy on the inside here of Jay Kickson. Just behind them, the 12 of Wes Hurd Jr. The 02 of Adam Johnson. The 34 of Alan Pajari. On the bottom, Thomas O'Hara. Ooh, trouble out back. That was Brian Conklin. Couldn't tell if he saved it. He did not. Heavy hit to the inside wall for Brian Conklin. You see the nose bumper hanging off. That's going to be a fast, well, not a fast repair, but that's going to be going to get in and getting some optional repair done. That car is broken after this impact. Is it? Yep, it's going to be all by himself again. The 97 goes on the bottom. He shakes the banking. And yeah, the 37 just loses it. Car gets loose. The back end starts to snap around, and not too many places to run here. It's a short track, so when you're running that fast, you're going to approach a wall pretty quickly. Brian Conklin tried to save it, but fortunately just ran out of room. So he makes his way down the pits after working on some of the damages. See if he's able to make a return out on track. And it's actually Danny Gutierrez here who's already taken that 2nd spot away from Jeff Shutt. Quentin Clark and Jeff Shutt are racing side by side right now for the final podium spot in 3rd. Austin Fitzgerald likes what he sees in his mirror right now. He's hoping that those guys continue to battle. What he doesn't like is that the 08 of Danny Gutierrez is getting bigger and bigger as he closes in on the rear bumper, his Chevy Camaro. So right now up front, at least as they stand for the moment, you've got a Chevy followed by a Ford, followed by a Chevy, and then another Ford with a Chevy rounding out the top 5. So a pretty good mix, at least between the 2 American manufacturers right now towards the front. But Danny Gutierrez, who is still, for the moment, from what we know, declared as an independent driver, is doing a phenomenal job here tonight. And if he could find a way to get this win, that would absolutely change his season for the better. The amount of momentum he could carry the rest of the way through, knowing that he got a win at one of the toughest tracks we're going to go to on the circuit, one of the toughest short tracks, rather, that happens so early on in the season. And, of course, anybody that's good here tonight in general, even if you don't win, take notes, save the setup, because we're coming back here again in the fall for, of course, what's going to be the championship. And if you're one of the guys that are able to make the Final 4, you want to have a good baseline to start with, make some adjustments, and have a piece that you can maybe go out there and capture the championship with. Quentin Clark, Jeff Shutt still side by side, but switch lanes around here a little bit. Shutt on the inside, Quentin Clark on the outside. Jeff Shutt saving maybe a little bit more tire by running the inside, but Quentin Clark, you think maybe has the preferred lane. Yeah, Jeff Shutt not able to get clear there. He carries the momentum down the straightaway, but it's still not enough to even stay side by side down the 00. He has to tuck back down in line, and now that puts your top 5 all single file, with Tyler Marble being the last car that is within a 2nd of your leader. Jacob Musso, Kyle Oakley, they're singled out as well, and then you saw what almost looked like start of a battle there a little bit further back, but Jay Kickson and the 3 behind him of Jared Bundy. We haven't said too much about Jared yet. in the early portions of the season, but he's already shown some qualifying speed, a couple good runs, especially the run that he was having at Atlanta. Thought maybe that was going to be where he captured his first win in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. That is one of the SWM Motorsports teammates, so no surprise to see him running in the top 10 with the run that we've seen his teammate Kyle Oakley having up to this point tonight. And now officially, it's going to be 102 laps complete when they cross the stripe this time, so that'll make it 55 laps to go. And now the fuel strategy, it's a lot more interesting. And the reason I say this is because they might be good to make it the rest of the way. You figure out a track like Atlanta, it's a mile and a half, full throttle the whole way through. If they can make 60 laps, I believe that they're going to be able to make it the entirety or the rest of the way from here. So if that's the case, now it does truly become a tire-saving battle. Who can save the most tire and who's got the best long-run car towards the end of this race? And right now it's looking like it's probably going to be Austin Fitzgerald, but Quentin Clark's had a chance to try a couple things different through a couple different restarts that we've had. Again, cannot count out Danny Gutierrez, but as he fell a position right there, starts to make you wonder if maybe he was a little too aggressive on his tires on the restart this time. Tyler Marble in the 48, back in that 4th spot. He was able to pick up a position over Jeff Shutt, who's back to 5th. So all that single file action makes up what is kind of this lead group, and then you see it on the track map there, the second group. A little bit of distance behind the leaders right now. Jacob Musso, Kyle Oakley, Wes Hurd Jr., the 16 of Jake Hickson, all single file with another single file group just behind them. Not much 2x2 action going on, at least not right now. And if we go back to what the weather outside currently is now, based off what it was earlier, track temp has increased. So with that, handling definitely has not gotten better for anybody. If anything, it's gotten a little bit worse, as it is currently 140. Sim time wind still nice and calm. And overall, 81 degrees outside, very dry air, 16% humidity. So we'll see how everybody plays this out the rest of the way. Again, you got to save tire, but it's more of the question of can the tires, even with saving, make it what's going to be now these next 50 laps when they cross the stripe next time. And while we have a chance, while everything has simmered down, let's go see what the points and schedule are looking like for the upcoming races. So currently leading in points, not only in regular season points, but of course in rookie points as well. It's Jake Hickson. Second for the regular season points is Michael Mueller. Third, Austin Fitzgerald. Fourth, Jeff Shutt, Danny Gutierrez, and fifth, Jeff Marble. Sixth, Johnny McCulchuk, again after that great run at Vegas last week. Seventh in points, but the run tonight not going to help his case there. He may slip outside of the top 10. Scott Glasso back in 8th. Tai Ippolito in 9th, and rounding out your top 10 in points is Kyle Oakley. Boy, he certainly is having a good run here tonight and looking to see if he can advance a couple more positions in terms of points. But, I mean, how about two rookies leading the board in points, 118 and 106 for Jake Hickson and Michael Mueller, who both have at least one. Of course, Jake, we know, has 2 wins on the season already. I mean, just what a crazy start to the season that I certainly wasn't expecting, and I don't think a lot of the veterans of the series were either. And looking at what's coming up, schedule next up, we're going to go to another short track. It's Bristol, the high banked, fastest short track, faster than what we see here at Phoenix. That's going to be a fun one, but that tends to get messy. So certainly one of those wild card races that you'd like to have a little bit of a safety cushion after the race tonight, going into there next week. After that, we head to Auto Club for 100 laps in Hollywood, followed by Richmond, Martinsville, Texas. Talladega going to be the next No Bull race up on tap. That will be April 22nd, followed by Dover, Miles the Monster there, Kansas, Darlington, and then North Wilkesboro on May 20th. Good time to be a part of sim racing, and if you're interested in joining either or for the Fast Track, either Sim Racing Cup Series or the Fast Track, I believe it might still be, yeah, the Fast Track Sim Racing Truck Series. I wasn't sure if they had the same sponsor, title sponsor-wise. Thanks to iRacing Flags instead of the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists. But the point is, 2 great series. The trucks are fixed. The Cup cars are open. So if you want to get in either of those, make sure you go check it out. Back on track action. Austin Fitzgerald still leading the way. Quentin Clark in 2nd. Let's go through a run-through here of the field. How everybody's doing. Anthony Hanley, Jeffrey Souza have since retired from the race after early issues, as has like Brian Conklin still in the pits, but looking like, again, his night is officially over. Bill Benedict, 32nd. The last car currently still out on track. Now, unfortunate news here for Bill Benedict, because even though he's got that car cleaned up after the earlier incident, He is 11 laps down. So again, his race not looking like he's going to have much to fight for tonight. Same thing for Johnny McCulchuk in the 72. Ryan Haynes 31st. Jeff Marble in 29th. Has really not been able to make up much more ground, but he's actually going to bring it down to the pits here. Interesting call here for the 15. You got to wonder, I'm not really sure what he's doing here. Maybe tried to stay out to get one of those laps back, and so now it's just out of fuel and has to pit. But as it stands now, Jeff Marble, who is again in 29th, he is multiple laps down as well, 5+. So him and Brett Spod, who's also more than 5 laps down. Brett Spod's going to bring it to the pits this time, it looks like, as is his teammate there, Ryan Haynes. 2 VMP cars almost in sync, if you will. And to the pits, they'll go take 4 tires and fuel. Scott Glasso 27th. Andrew Moraz in 26th. Matthew Geringer in 25th. Kenneth Bartholomew in 24th. Todd Shiro in 23rd. Andrew Russo in 22nd. Glenn Grigsby in 21st. Mark Sabak in 20th. Good recovery for him after the wreck he was involved in earlier. Ryan Shiro in the Nerf paint scheme, the number 20 machine. One of the 2 Shiro Motorsports drivers. He is inside the top 20 in 19th. Brandon R. Saylor in 18th. By the way, Brandon R. Saylor, one of the rookies for Team Marvel iRacing, so not too surprised to see him have a pretty good run so far here on the night for a rookie. Going up another spot, Greg Bartlett in 17th, Cody Matthews in 16th, Roger Shelton 15th, Adam Johnson in 14th, Thomas O'Hara in 13th, Ty Iopolito in 12th, Alan Pajari in 11th, Jake Hicks in 10th, Jared Bundy in 9th, Wes Hurd Jr. in 8th, Kyle Oakley 7th, Jacob Musso in 6th. And now as we work our way inside your top 5, Danny Gutierrez, the last man still inside the top 5 up 15 positions from where he started this race at. Jeff Shutt in 4th, Tyler Marble in 3rd, and looking at the driver cam, you see they're still doing a lot of work with the steering wheel. Anything right now to try to keep this thing from getting any looser than it already is, as the tires will continue to wear out. And I'm telling you, by the end of this run, which again, we're expecting that they don't have to pit, but even if they do, either way, these tires are going to be absolutely shot. Pit road's a tricky place in of itself, but just trying to keep speed, much less trying to find a way to pass guys on these old tires, it's going to be very tricky. Quentin Clark, the rookie, in 2nd, up 5 total from where he started. And everybody that we just named, all the way back from 36th to 2nd, are all chasing this man right here, the Las Vegas native, Austin Fitzgerald. He's gotten close to a win a couple times this season, including Daytona, Atlanta, and Vegas, where the 2nd place finishes, or rather almost a string of all 2nd place finishes, but the podium finishes are certainly stacking up for Austin Fitzgerald. In fact, every race of the season so far, minus the clash, Austin Fitzgerald, I believe has, except for Daytona as well, has finished either 1st or 2nd in. So certainly showing, or not, I keep mixing it up. I meant to say 2nd or 3rd in. He got 2nd in 2 races, and then of course 3rd in the last race. So Quentin Clark, who's currently about a 2nd back, right now maybe hoping for a caution. Not sure if he's going to have enough to catch Fitzgerald here, as in just about 3 laps from now after they cross the stripe this time, we're going to be approaching 36 laps to go. And again, not that long here at Phoenix. Lap times, we looked at them earlier, but only about 28 seconds. The track length in total just over a mile. So running out of time for some of these guys to try to track down your leader. And Fitzgerald, similar to what we said during that last green flag run, right now he is just hoping that we can keep this clean, no cautions, and that everybody can just find their P's and Q's for the rest of the way. Give a shout out again to everybody that's tuning in here tonight. Appreciate everybody being out here. I am a little bit under the weather, so I apologize if I sound a little bit maybe stuffed up or maybe a little bit tired. It's been a rough day, but glad to see these guys out here putting on a good show. Started out a little bit messy, but since then things have cleaned up nicely. We've had some phenomenal green flag racing, but it's definitely proven that it's been tough to make a pass, especially the further back you get in traffic as the tires wear down. I mean, here's a cluster of cars, Wes Hurd Jr. all the way back to, looks like that might be Jeff Marble, who's on fresh tires, so that's not for position, but certainly showing you the benefits there of fresh tires as he is rocketing around the inside of everybody. Thomas O'Hara next up on the list. He's going to go around. But the 12 of Wes Hurd Jr. is holding off Jake Hickson in the 16th, along with the 34 of Alan Pajari. 2 of those Dynamic Autosports teammates there, nose to tail. And the 07 of Thomas O'Hara slipped up a little bit last time coming off of turn 4. Had to catch it just as Adam Johnson had to do right there off of turn number 2. And now that we have hit 121 laps, it is officially going to be 36 laps to go. 35 when they cross the stripe next time. Austin Fitzgerald, the gap now up to almost 2 seconds. as he continues to try to stretch his lead on second place Quentin Clark. And Tyler Marble, he has got a lot of pressure out back right now from Jeff Shutt, who is actually now laying the chrome horn to the back of the 48. Does Tyler Marble think about throwing any sort of a block here? I don't think there's a block to be made yet, and you see the 27 closes right up on his back bumper. He's just getting a better run right now. And Jeff Shutt, he's going to take it too. He'll jump to the inside here through the dog leg. Jumping up, was Tyler Marble able to fend him off? The 27, he's going to have to dive it in. Shooting up the track a little bit. Ooh, contact. He gets into Tyler Marble. Trying to save it, but he's not going to. Tyler Marble goes around. Caution is out with 34 laps to go. Oh, man. Heartbreak for the 48. He was having such a good run for the 27 as well of Jeff Shutt. Just a mistake. It looked like Jeff Shutt, I was wondering, to keep that spot, he was going to have to sail it into the corner a little bit further than he would have liked to, and it wasn't much contact, but it does not take much for these cars, and it was just enough to send Tyler Marble around. You see the frustration there. He's not happy about it. I'm not going to repeat it, but I mean, he knows that he had a great shot at a podium, maybe a chance to go try to track down the leader, and now he's going to have to come to the pits. I don't think he's going to have to repair much, if any, damage, but he certainly is going to have to take 4 tires, and now he's in a cluster of traffic and got a lot of position that he's going to have to make up. Let's go back and take another look at it. Again, these two had been running pretty hard here. Jeff Shutt gave him the bumper a couple times, but not sure if there was anything prior to this that we missed. Certainly didn't seem like there was. This was the lap just before the caution going into turn number 2. Jeff Shutt gets a good run, but yeah, I mean, doesn't look like anything egregious there that Tyler does so. And I mean, again, I didn't think that this was anything malicious on the intent of Jeff Shutt either. I was just checking because, you know, sometimes there's certain things that'll make guys want to push a little bit harder, try to race other guys a little bit more aggressive, but I don't think that was the case at all here. I genuinely think that Jeff Shutt just got a little bit too eager beaver into the corner. Let's take a look here from the blimp cam. This will give us the best angle here. And you see it's the middle of the corner there where the car starts to arc up, and Tyler Marble is just rolling the middle, getting ready to start his arc down. That's where the contact is made. And it's right in the left rear, most sensitive spot of the car. And oh, wow, I did not see this initially. There was some secondary contact here. Oh, this is going to change everything here. I thought this was initially all Jeff Shutt. I did not even notice the 08 actually come into frame and potentially make contact here. So Jeff Shutt's definitely getting tight. In fact, he's going to tap Tyler Marble. But I think the 48's going to maybe save it here initially. You see him getting sideways. He's trying to drive out of it. Yeah, I think he's going to. It's Danny Gutierrez who comes along here. He can't quite check up in time, and he slides into the 27, which pushes Jeff Shutt back into the 48. And that's what's going to ultimately actually send these guys around. Boy, that changes a lot of things. And then there you see up top, I believe that might have been Jacob Musso who got along the outside safety rear. But yeah, it certainly was, the 95. Man, that's really unfortunate then. Jeff Shutt and Tyler Marble, they did a great job of, after making contact, both giving each other room and saving it. But then Danny Gutierrez, again, it looked like was just committed to the bottom and maybe ran out of room there before he was able to check up in time. Got into the back, and I'm trying to find, I want to get an onboard view here for Danny Gutierrez as we get into the corner. You see he's just going to get a little too hot. Boom. Yeah, that's a hard shot there. I mean, maybe from his view, it almost didn't look like he was able to tell quite that these guys were wrecking. It just looked like hard racing. Maybe he was going to try to make a move to the inside. But, yeah, just a little bit of a mistake there. And it's a racing deal at the end of the day, but very unfortunate incident that cost Tyler Marble in a big way. As now, again, he's got all that track position that he has got to try to make up. So, as we go back to the front of the field, 30 laps to go is going to be the distance when we get the green flag. And it is Mark Sabak who leads the way. Austin Fitzgerald second. Quentin Clark third. Jeff Shutt in fourth. Kyle Oakley in fifth. Jared Bundy back in sixth. Jake Hickson in seventh. Wes Hurd Jr. in eighth. Thomas O'Hara ninth. Alan Pajari rounding out your top 10. And going all the way back, Tyler Marble in 13th. I'm telling you, some of these drivers, maybe Jeff Shutt as well, Danny Gutierrez, whether it's a mistake, a racing incident, getting caught up in a wreck, if you've got a fast car and something happens, controversy pops up, sometimes that's the fuel you need to ignite that fire and get you right back to the front here in a jiffy. So 30 laps to go again, not that long. No more scheduled stops. The only pit stops will be if anybody have enough. Does anybody have enough sets of tires left to go in if we get a caution. But here we go, green flag back in the air, Mark Zabak. I'm thinking here he maybe didn't want to restart on the front row because he is running high and still staying well out of the way of everybody else. So they're going to fan out 3-4 wide, wreck it out back. The 77 is going to go around. And more contact. Bill Benedict's in it. Oh, now the 6 gets involved, along with the 88 of Andrew Russo. Glenn Grigsby dodges it. It was Todd Shiro. The 24 of Brandon R. Saylor. It was the 77 of Greg Bartlett, who we saw initially go for the spin. I think that's all going to stem from maybe some of the, I don't know if I want to call it chaos, maybe more or less confusion at the front of the pack with the leader pulling high there and everybody fanning out more than just 3 and 4 wide. I think we had a couple of maybe 5 and 6 wides there on the dog leg. Everybody's scrambling for position. So let's go back and break down exactly how this whole thing starts. So there you see the 88 and the 77 right about middle of your screen. That's where this whole incident's going to start. And watch here as Greg Bartlett, I think he's just going to come down here before he's clear. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The 88 choosing not to go to the dog leg, at least not at that point. The 77 expecting him to be down there at the dog leg. So when he comes across, just, again, the 88's there. And so once he cuts him off, they make contact, go for a spin. Now the 24 is going to go to the dog leg, and I think he loses it all by himself. Initially saves it, but then as he tries to re-emerge, turns the car too far back to the right. Goes up into traffic. Give you another angle of this one. 77 overall has a pretty good save up into that point there where he got tapped from the 6 and then wasn't done there. The 4 of Scott Glasso had nowhere to go, but there's Bill Benedict on the apron making some contact with Jeff Marble, the 15. And these guys, again, weren't the only incident here. We almost had 2 incidents kind of simultaneously. Watch the 24 here. This is Brandon Saylor. As, yeah, he just gets loose. He's trying to save it. He does, but then again, just too big of an overcorrection back to the right when he first saves it. Gets back into the 6. That sends the 6 hard into Andrew Russo before the 24 slides. Comes to a halt down just under the apron in turn 1. So give you one more shot of this. I want to go to the cockpit view and the gearbox view here for the 24. So the first incident's going to happen out back. And he sees that incident and then doesn't take much, but oh man, it's a pretty hard shot in the right rear. So as we go back live, this will now give us a restart with, I believe, under 25 laps to go, it's looking like. Lights are not off on the pace car just yet. Austin Fitzgerald being scored as your leader still. Quentin Clark in 2nd, Jeff Shutt 3rd, Jared Bundy 4th. Mark Zabak back to 5th, Kyle Oakley 6th, Jay Kickson 7th, Wesser Jr. 8th, Alan Pajari at 9th, and Adam Johnson rounding out your top 10. Well, let's go see if we can get an interview real quick with the man who's still got some work to do. He's able to pick up 2 spots that time, Tyler Marble. Let's see if we can get a quick word with him here. Hey Tyler, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, I do.
Well, man, you had a great car up into that little incident that happened there. It looked like a lot of hard racing, couple bumps gone wrong, but now you find yourself back in 11th. You went down, you took tires, no damage. But how are you going to be able to get back to the front here in just 25 laps?
I'll take no give. Obviously, got to be smart about it. When we put the car, make sure I'm clear and whatnot. But yeah, we're gonna give it all we got here and try to salvage something here. It's not gonna be easy.
Well, the big question too is if we start to get a couple more cautions, maybe have a really late race restart, do you have an extra set of tires in the pits, and do you take that set if you got one?
Everybody took their last set. I don't think anybody has tires left. So.
All right. Well, we appreciate you giving us a quick word. Good luck the rest of the way. We'll see if you can get back up there.
Thank you.
There you go, and a little bit more insight there. Believes everyone took their last set. Boy, I would pay right now to be the one guy out there that has a set left, especially if this thing goes green for, I don't know, 10, 15 laps. We'll say 10 laps, and then we get a caution, man. But right now, with that being said, it's going to be a race to the finish. Don't think we're quite at the point where you can just go full blast here yet. You still got to save a little bit of tire for these 25 laps. Stacking up on the outside pretty bad here. Can't everybody account for it? Looks like they do, as again, everybody's going to fan out here down the dog leg. Andrew Russo, Tyler Marble, you see that bright blue and yellow 48 trying to split through the middle. The 9 of Mark Zabak, some contact there with the 16 of Jake Hickson. 48's going to make a move here. He'll get clear of Adam Johnson. Now he's going to duck to the outside of Mark Zabak. And already in just one lap, make it up 3 positions for Tyler Marble. 3 wide on the inside goes Alan Pajari. He's trying to pick that spot up as well. Hickson and Wesser Jr., they're going to drag race off of turn number 4. Meanwhile, up front, Quentin Clark and and Austin Fitzgerald, teammate to Alan Pajari, trying to battle this thing out. Quentin Clark got in there really hot, slid up the racetrack. Tried not to get into Fitzgerald. As a result, he had to bail out of the throttle. And they're going to stay side by side. This pulls Jeff Shutt right back into the picture. It's going to be 23 laps to go when they cross the line. Caution is out, wrecking out back. Trouble. And it's the 02 of Adam Johnson and the 42 of Roger Shelton. One of the rookies there. Looks like they're going to be able to get back rolling. Heavy damage to the front of Adam Johnson as they both try to duck back down in line and work their way back to the garage area for repairs. 23 laps to go and the caution comes out, so now it'll be a restart probably with about 17 laps to go. Just keep ticking off those laps. It's given a lot of these guys less time to try to get back towards the front of the field. But let's see what happens here to Adam Johnson. Pretty good run for the rookie tonight. And then, well, he hooks Danny Gutierrez there. There's not much more to that one. Yeah, not sure if maybe he didn't realize the 08 was down there and was trying to slot in line in front of the 19, or I find it hard to believe that there's any hard feelings there. I certainly don't think that's the case. I'm thinking maybe he just didn't realize, but let's take an onboard view. Yeah, I think he thought he was going to be just clear behind. That's a really, really unfortunate break, too, for Danny Gutierrez, who's doing a phenomenal job here tonight. You'll see here for Adam Johnson. Let's see. Who was the man that got involved behind him here? You're going to see a couple of the 42s going to duck low. Oh, the 42, though. Not sure if he got some help or as well, or if just trying to miss it got too deep into the corner here. Oh, no, he just gets loose. You see now the car's out of shape. It's going back up the racetrack, and he's going to collide here with Adam Johnson. That's going to send Johnson pretty hard up into the outside safer barrier. And the 42 makes significant contact again. Marks the box, able to dive low. Everybody else misses it. So certainly another wreck that doesn't necessarily collect a ton of drivers. The 08 of Danny Gutierrez certainly probably not going to be too happy about that one himself. But he was having a great run tonight. It's to an end a lot earlier than he would have liked it to. Give you one more angle here from TV2. Here's the first contact. Danny Gutierrez, I don't think gets hit anymore. Actually, I'm not sure if Mark Sabak made some slight contact or not. But they were both able to get back rolling. Continue at least to make it back to the pits. Adam Johnson looks like he was rolling his way out of the pits. That quick transition view that we just took. So still lights on the pace car. We'll see if they go off either this time or next time. And right now it is Austin Fitzgerald still being scored as the leader. But if we get a restart, I would say probably within 10-15 laps to go. This is going to be an all-out duel. Haymakers are going to be thrown left and right here between Quentin Clark and Austin Fitzgerald, who, in terms of the short run, I feel like have both been about equal tonight. They've both proven that both cars have had speed at different points in the short run, but Fitzgerald has had the better long run car. But if this comes down to that short run battle, what does Fitzgerald have left in the tank to battle the 00 on the short sprint? And as the lights do go off on the pace car, that does indeed mean we get the one to go signal. We're going to be going back green here with now 19 laps to go. So closing in on the end of the Phoenix Spring 156. Can't count out a couple of, don't want to call them dark horse picks, but guys that have just kind of been flying under the radar tonight. Jared Bundy being one of those. How about Wesley Hurd after trouble earlier? And then some of, not the underdog picks here for tonight, maybe some of the underdog picks for this early in the season. How about Kyle Oakley in the 17? He has had a phenomenal run tonight. Can't count out Tyler Marble either. Only reason he's going to be an underdog pick tonight is because of that incident that sent him all the way back outside the top 10. But within probably about the last 5 laps of green flag racing between these restarts, he has gotten back inside the conversation, up to 7th, but he's still got a lot more work to do. Only 19 laps to go. All right, here we go. Working back into the Geico restart zone. Potentially for the final time here tonight. Green flag is back in the air at Phoenix. Good restart. A little bit of a checkup on the outside again. Tyler Marble gets stacked up, bunched up, if you will. They're going to fan out 3, almost 4 wide on the apron. Nowhere to go for Tyler Marble. He gets trapped. Meanwhile, up front, Fitzgerald's able to pull away to about a car length lead. Off of turn 2, though, Quentin Clark's able to get some momentum. He gets clear. Jeff Shutt. Now he's got to run to the 74. We're going to duck to the inside, out of back straightaway. Maybe a little bit of a block or a checkup. The 00 thinks twice about it. That'll give Jeff Shutt all the momentum he needs to jump to the outside. He's trying to get clear.
All right, man.
Caution is back out. Trouble further back. Looks like it might have been a couple of the Dynamic Autosports teammates involved in this one. Ty Iopolito and Alan Pajari, yeah. 34. Slow rolling. Ty Iopolito towed. So you got to assume he may have had some significant damage. So brings out what is in total, I believe, your 9th caution of the night for a 156 lap race. Had a lot early, had a pretty good middle stint, and now it looks like we're starting to get a accumulation of cautions again here at the end. But I mean, it's just a product of the way this track races and track positioned. Late race restarts, everybody going for it. So let's see what sparks this one. Oh man, Kyle Oakley looks like he's going to get involved in this one after having such a good night. I think he's not going to be alone. I think he's going to get some help here. Let's go to the cockpit view / gearbox view here first for Kyle Oakley. So get into the corner. Or excuse me, I meant to go row back here. We'll go up to Kyle Oakley, though. You saw Alan Pajari, how he got involved from that view, but I think Oakley maybe just slightly misses the corner here. Not really. I mean, looks like he's following just about the same line as the guy in front of him. So, yeah, he certainly got some help from, it looks like, the rookie there, Jake Hickson. And if we go, I want to go to the chopper view, the blimp cam rather. And as they get into the corner, I mean, I got to assume, yeah, I think Jake just gets in a little bit too hot here. I mean, there is going to be maybe a little bit of a stack up in the corner, but the 16, he gets it on the bottom, and I think he's just rolling it a little bit better than Oakley, but the hole not really there. I think Jake maybe thought it was, tries to fill the gap, but unfortunately hits the 17 in the left rear instead. And nothing Oakley can do at that point. Gets turned back up the racetrack. Him and Ty Iopolito make pretty significant contact, and the right front and left front between those two cars. I wonder if that broke a suspension for Kyle Oakley. Looks like he's able to continue on, so it may not have. And then Alan Pajari ran into this mess with really nowhere to go from further out back. You see the 34 here. There's the contact for him, and then he gets spun around by Thomas O'Hara, tagged by Cody Matthews slightly, and he slides down the racetrack. Comes to a stop. Oh man, Johnny Mikulchuk just barely finding a way to miss him as he slid back up the dogleg. Give you one more angle of this here from TV3. Yeah, once he gets turned back around here, I mean, there's just nothing Ty Iopolito can do. You see, he just does about everything. Oh, and I didn't catch that initially, but Tyler Marble as well. He actually almost spun out of this. He somehow saved it. And that may have saved his race, because if he would have spun out right there, he would have been going right back to the back. He certainly had a good onboard view. Here's a look. See Oakley get turned. Tyler's trying to slide by. Oh my goodness. What a save from Tyler Marble. That's got to be the save of the night, hands down. As we go back up front, it is Austin Fitzgerald still being scored as your leader. Jeff Shutt second. Quentin Clark third. Jared Bundy in fourth. Wes Hurd Jr. in fifth. Jake Hickson in sixth. Tyler Marble 7th, Thomas O'Hara in 8th, Cody Matthews 9th, and Ryan Shiro rounding out your top 10. Mark Sabak 11th, Kyle Oakley 12th, Andrew Mraz in 13th, Andrew Russo 14th, and Kenneth Bartholomew in 15th. Gonna see if they do indeed get the one-to-go signal this time, and if they do, seeing if there was anybody here that we could get a word with that's been in an interesting position here on the night, but I think we're going to let everybody stay focused for now, because this is going to be the craziest restart all night. I mean, it's going to be 13 laps to go at Phoenix. We've already seen a caution on the last 2 or 3 restarts, and so with that knowledge, everybody getting a little nervous that this thing may go pretty caution-filled the rest of the way, so they're going to be scrambling for any sort of track position they can get. So watch again for everybody to fan out in that 4-5 wide formation on the front straightaway. This pace car pulls off. Pit entrance on the exit of turn 2 here at Phoenix, or pit entry rather on the exit of 2. Exit just past the start-finish line. The field back in the hands here of Austin Fitzgerald. Jeff Shutt in second. What an opportunity this is for the Capital Auto Group driver that sponsors, but of course, teammates Johnny Mikulchuk for No Excuses Racing plays a big part in the league in general as a sponsor, but it's playing an even bigger role this season in the runs that he's already put together, and the one he's looking to put together tonight. Green flag back in the air, 13 laps to go at Phoenix. Good start, not so much the case for Jared Bundy. They're going to all have to fan out to go around the 3. Austin Fitzgerald, though, able to hold off the surge from the front row, at least as they work their way down into turn number 1. And at this point now is when you start using up whatever tire you've got left. 13 laps to go. There is no more tire saving at this point. Pick off whatever spots wherever you can get them. Try to get to the front. Battle now I think is going to be primarily up front as they still try to sort things out further back. Austin Fitzgerald leads Quentin Clark. Jeff Shutt falls back to 3rd. Wes Hurd Jr. in 4th. Tyler Marple back in 5th. Jared Bundy settles in 6th after not the best restart. Caution is back out. And we've got more trouble again further back. And it looked like I saw somebody slow there. Wasn't sure who exactly it was, though. And it looks like it might have been Andrew Mraz. Looking for the 97 machine. That is one of the Riot Motorsports teammates. And considering he has taken it to the pits and has no front end, it's had to be a pretty big hit in of itself. This is going to be coming off of turn number 4. Again, I apologize if I've mixed these turns up a little bit here tonight. Again, still a little bit used to the old Phoenix configuration. Of course, now the turns swapped around, so as we go back to the chopper, that's the night of Mark Zabak running just in front of Andrew Mrazin. There's a little bit of a stack up in the corner. You see it there at the right, top right of your screen with the 20 of Todd Shiro. Just in front of him was the 10 of Cody Matthews. These guys start stacking up right here. Watch it. You're going to see as they come into frame, there's the stack up. And so now that opens up the bottom. Mark Zabak tries to check up as well. The 97 tries to do the same. They're all fine there, but man, again, coming out of the corner, it just snaps around on him. And unfortunately, he clips the inside wall there where it's still kind of sticking out a little bit further than if he got a little bit further right here. And if he could have slid maybe another 50 feet, he still probably hits the wall, but maybe not quite as hard. But a single car incident didn't collect anyone else, but certainly going to ruin the hopes tonight for Andrew Mraz. That's a really hard hit. And oh man, close call right there for Adam Johnson, as he was just able to make his way around right at the end there. Give you one more view of this from TV3. So that will now officially put us under your 10th caution here of the night. I believe that's about a caution on average every 15 laps for the moment. But as we get ready to go back green flag racing, I don't know if the lights are going to go off this time or next time. I think now is a good chance to see if we can get an interview here. One of the guys in your top 10, and I think let's go with the man who's been dominant all night that we actually haven't talked to yet, Austin Fitzgerald. Hey Austin, this is Austin up in the booth. Got a copy?
Hey Austin, how's it going?
Good. Well, man, certainly been a war of attrition here tonight, but not so much for yourself. You've had a consistent run. You've stayed at the front, paying off so far. The car's still clean, but man, these restarts are getting really chaotic, and this one's going to be probably about a 7-lap to go restart. What's going through your head right now, and how do you try to fend off this hungry field to capture your first win of the season?
I don't know, man. My luck might be running out soon. These restarts are really hard, especially because we all got to go on green, and the low side doesn't have much of an advantage over the top. And that's why I've even started on the top once or twice here, is because if you can keep your nose, you know, in front of, like to my right rear, and you start on top, and you stay up high, and you pinch me down going into turn 1, it makes it really hard to get that spot back. So, I don't know, these restarts are really hard. I'm hoping that this is the last one, but it's been a lot of fun, I guess. I'll take the low side here, and hopefully it works out, and I can hold them off for another 7 laps here.
Certainly looking like you can with the things you've done so far here tonight. So, we appreciate you giving us a quick word, and we'll see if we're talking to you here again in just a few laps.
I hope so. Thanks.
There you go, Austin Fitzgerald, one of the Dynamic Auto Sports drivers, getting ready for what he said could be the final restart, although I'm not sure. 8 laps to go. I think there's still a lot of aggression, still the potential for maybe 1-2 more cautions. But I agree, certainly hoping that we can finish this thing clean and green right here. So we'll be officially 7 laps to go. And we've got to make it all the way to the white flag before this race would be declared official. 3 green, white checkers, of course, if we need them. Can't forget about those. And if we get another caution after this point, it very well may put us into our first overtime of the night. So the pace car is going to make the hard left turn. Fitzgerald in front. Quentin Clark as well leading the front row. He is in second. Fitzgerald taking the bottom again this time. We'll see how well it works out. By the way, if you're just tuning in, we appreciate you checking in. And anybody that's been tuning in, we appreciate you being here. You are watching the Phoenix Spring 156 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. 156 laps, the distance we started with. It's going to come down to the final 7. Here we go, working their way back into the Geico restart zone. Green flag back in the air at Phoenix. Good start. There's Fitzgerald talking to you about exactly why that inside's so tough right now in these restarts. He's trying to get clear of the double zero here. Can he do it into turn 1? Looks like he does. Nice move there, but the double zero rolling the outside really well. Quentin Clark somehow able to get back to the right rear of Fitzgerald. They drag race off of turn 2, and now it's the double zero. Gets the advantage, wrecking out back. We got one around. It's the 42. More trouble as a couple others get involved. That's Roger Shelton, who comes to a stop. The back straightaway, him and Bill Benedict, the two involved. So as they both get back rolling, now this, looking like probably going to put us into either our first overtime of the night or a natural green light checkered, which would be just a 2-lap shootout in of itself. Again, just guys fighting for position here, at least from the initial look at it. Late in the race, you got to go for it. Watch 42 on the inside there of the 73 of Kenneth Bartholomew. The 6 up top there gets a little tight, but never makes any contact with the wall. Todd Shiro, though, I mean, didn't really look like he came. He does come down a little bit. Kenneth Bartholomew moving up a little bit there as he works his way up the corner, and the 6 starts to creep down just a little bit as he's trying to keep it off the wall when he starts to get tight. They make contact, sends the 6 down the track. He gets into the 42 of Roger Shelton. They both go into the inside wall, and then Kenneth Bartholomew sneaks through after making some contact, and then Bill Benedict, on the other hand, just really nowhere for the 90 to go right there. Take another shot here from TV1. 6 had already had pretty significant front end damage from an earlier incident, and that certainly did not help his cause right there with the damage he sustained from this one. That's a hard shot for both of those cars into the inside safer barrier before they get back going. So as we go back live, up front it is Quentin Clark still leading, Austin Fitzgerald 2nd, Jeff Shutt in 3rd, Westher Jr. in 4th, Tyler Marble 5th, Jake Hickson in 6th, Jared Bundy 7th, Kyle Oakley in 8th, Thomas O'Hara 9th, and Ryan Shiro rounding out your top 10. So 5 laps to go, and based on whether or not we're going to go to an overtime depends heavily on when the lights for the pace car go off. If they go off either this time or next time, then it would be a natural green light checkered. However, if we go any longer than that, then this race would be set up to go into the first overtime. I think it's going to actually be a natural green light checkered here. Yeah, expecting the lights to go off this next time. Now, the big development right there is that Austin Fitzgerald no longer being scored as your leader. Although we only raced through about half a lap there, you saw Quentin Clark make the very aggressive move on the outside. It paid off. He got the position, and now field going to be in his control for this restart based on which lane he decides to choose. And I think if you're the double zero at this point, you've got to choose the outside. He's been doing so good with it all night. Why not do it at this point? And Fitzgerald going to be trapped on the inside. We'll see what he can do now that, again, the field not in his control for one of the first times here tonight. Jeff Shutt back in 3rd. Rounding out row 2 for this restart is going to be Westher Jr. Again, good comeback for him after trouble earlier. Tyler Marble in 5th. Still maybe a shot at it, but really needed some green flag laps here. And just not looking like we're going to get a lot of those here to end this thing off. 2 at most. Jake Hickson just behind him. He's still got pretty good front end damage, but looking to finish this thing off with a top 10. Jared Bundy as well. Up 22 positions from where he started this race at in 7th. Kyle Oakley, good recovery for him. He's back up to 7th now, actually. After the damage he sustained earlier, it's going to put him, I believe, 8th officially. There's Kyle getting ready for the restart here. I mean, that's a really good recovery for Kyle Oakley after having to fall all the way to the back with the damage earlier. He might have a chance to break back into the top 5 and who knows, maybe get up there and try to fight for a podium here. So the lights did go off that time, and so it's going to be 2 laps to go naturally. So again, if these guys can make it around 1 lap, keeping it clean, this race will be official. However, if a caution comes out during that first lap, then we will rack them up and try this yet again. All right, here we go. Pace car makes the hard left turn for potentially the final time tonight as we wrap up the 11th caution getting ready for a fantastic finish here in the desert. Truly going to be a fitting title here of the Duel in the Desert, because it's going to come down to, I believe, these front two. Quentin Clark, Austin Fitzgerald, they've been the cream of the crop of the field all night. And now they've got 2 laps to decide who's going to get their first win of the season. Green flag back in the air. Phoenix Fitzgerald doesn't get the start he wants. Quentin Clark with a big run as they cross the stripe. He's going to get clear. Diving all the way down to the apron there, through or below the apron on the dog leg. Tyler Marble had a choice there, decided to lift, didn't want to put himself in an awkward spot as they worked their way through 1 and 2. Those certain gaps starting to open up now. And still no side-by-side for lead. Now Fitzgerald's going to make the move to the inside as they work into turn number 3. This will be coming to the white flag if they can make it. Fitzgerald had to bail out of the throttle, just not a lot of momentum. Now the 0-0 gets to the wall. Quentin Clark gets to the wall. White flag, 1 lap to go. That opened the door again to Austin Fitzgerald. He's jumped to the inside. Can he hold the momentum here? He gets into the 0-0. Contact is made. Fitzgerald overshoots the corner. He's up the track. Here comes Jeff Shutt on the bottom. Final time down the back straightaway. Quentin Clark is able to get back clear. Now he only has to fend off Jeff Shutt. 1 more set of corners. Through 3 and 4 they go. The 27 with the look. It's not enough. Quentin Clark, the rookie. He's going to get his first win of the season at Phoenix. What a run for Quentin Clark. Jeff Shutt finishes in second, and Austin Fitzgerald brings home the final podium spot. Fitzgerald did everything right all night. The one mistake came at the worst time. Holds on to the podium, but man, so close. Just not quite enough. What a win, though, for Quentin Clark. I mean, I thought earlier the 74 and the 0-0 had similar short-run speed cars, but I think the 0-0 may have had just a little bit more there, especially with preferred lane on the outside. But man, what a finish. He's going to bring it by the start-finish line here. We'll see if we get a burnout from the 0-0. In the meantime, as we await celebration, take a look at your finishing results here on the night. Quentin Clark gets the win. Jeff Shutt in second. Austin Fitzgerald in third. Tyler Marble brings home fourth. Wesser Jr. in fifth. Jake Hickson in sixth. Kyle Oakley in seventh. Thomas O'Hara finishes in eighth. Jared Bundy finishes in the eighth. Thomas O'Hara in ninth. And Cody Matthews rounding out your top 10. Alan Pajari finishes back in the 11th position. Rounding out the top 12 tonight, it's going to be Danny Gutierrez in the 08. Matthew Geringer finishes in 13th. Ryan Shiro in 14th. Mark Zabak 15th with Glenn Grigsby in 16th. Andrew Russo in 17th. Brandon R. Saylor finishes in 18th. Rounding out your top 20 here tonight, Greg Bartlett and Kenneth Bartholomew. Adam Johnson finishes 21st. Roger Shelton in 22nd. Jacob Musso 23rd. Scott Glasso 24th. Todd Shiro in 25th. Brett Spod 26th. Jeff Marble in 27th. Ryan Haynes 28th. Johnny McCulchuk in 29th. And Bill Benedict rounding out your top 30. Andrew Mraz in 31st. Ty Iopolito in 32nd. Brian Conklin 33rd. Troy Baker 34th. Jeffrey Sousa 35th. Anthony Handley rounding out the field tonight, finished 36th after not being able to make the start after a technical issue. All right, well, it looks like the 0-0 has done enough burnouts where he has finished off the engine for the Riot Motorsports Dark Horse Mustang. So we are going to go get your top 3 in here for interview. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Phoenix. All right, back live at Phoenix Raceway. Going to start first tonight with your third place finisher, Austin Fitzgerald. Hey, Austin, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, gotcha.
Well, unfortunately, things did not quite work out the way you were probably hoping there at the end. Really aggressive last 2 laps. Things all went south, it looked like, in 1 and 2 on the white flag lap. Break us down what happened. If there's anything you wish you could have done different there.
Well, yeah, I think the biggest thing that hurt me was me and Quentin. We got into each other a little bit there, coming to the green. I was trying to hold him up a little bit higher. He was trying to pinch me down a little lower, which is totally fair game, you know. And right before the green flag dropped, we made contact, and my wheel just kind of twitched to the left real quick, so I wasn't able to get to the throttle, and that really hurt me. And then I had to, you know, really cook it going into 1, and then I had a chance coming out of 2 there, and we both went into 3, and we're both really tight, and I just couldn't get the car to turn down and get that run into 1 on the last lap there. But it was a lot of fun, of course. I wish, you know, we had, you know, more green flag laps. It just kind of became a wreck fest at the end there, and when this race went green is really when I was, you know, at my best. And but on the short run, I mean, me and Quentin were pretty much evenly matched, and yeah, he got the better of me there, but yeah, it's still fun.
Well, nonetheless, the streak of podium finishes continues with another good run tonight. You bring home 3rd. Before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, shout out to all the guys on the team, Ty, Brandon, Alan, Jake. I mean, you know, all these guys put a lot of work into the set every week, and it's really obvious, you know, as our week goes on, we just constantly are able to improve. And this being, you know, the last race at each track, you know, being the beginning of the week or the end of the previous week, you know, we really have our sets dialed. So shout out to all those guys and team, and thank you for the broadcast. Thank you for all the admins who put this on. I always like to thank my family, my wife, for just, you know, giving me the time to do this, and shout out to my girls, Emma and Indy.
Well, thank you for talking to us again. Congrats on the podium, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, now that's going to bring us tonight to your second place finisher. Season best finish, as a matter of fact, for Jeff Shutt. Jeff, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. Well, what a run tonight. You put No Excuses Racing in the podium. Man, I'll tell you what, you had short run speed, long run speed. How did you put it all together tonight, and how did you manage to survive the crazy couple of last laps to bring home a second place finish?
Yeah, I would have really liked to have it go green for sure, but overall, I think it was pretty solid. All of us raced pretty good, other than, you know, that situation with Ty, which, you know, just kind of racing incident there. But other than that, it was a pretty solid race.
Certainly was, and a solid finish to match that up. Now, we've been seeing the consistent finishes start to come together. Johnny McCulchuk and you last week, you this week with a podium finish. Is there something maybe that we're starting to see with the confidence booster for No Excuses Racing, and what can we expect going into the next couple weeks?
Yeah, I think we were spending a lot more time and effort on, you know, practice and working on our qualifying, and, you know, certainly the setups are a big factor. So, yeah, we've been putting a lot of time into it, and I think it's starting to come together. Overall, I work with Ryko on my stuff, and he has his thing with his guy. So we don't actually run the same setups, but we are, you know, a team too.
Good finish tonight nonetheless. So before we let you head out, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
You know, hey, I'm a sponsor of Capital Auto Group, so, you know, Capital, and if you want a Cadillac, a Subaru, a Toyota, or anything really, you can always hit me up.
All right, well, thank you for talking to us. Again, congrats on the second place finish, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, man.
All right, now that brings us to your winner. Another rookie winner. Second win now for Riot Motorsports, back-to-back for them, and a back-to-back rookie win, but this time it comes in the form of the 00 Quentin Clark. Quentin, this is Austin in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, we got to hear the other end there from Austin Fitzgerald about how aggressive the racing was between you two the last lap and how much fun it was. You come out on the winning end of it, but man, how did you hold off the 74? You and him had been going at it all night. What was the game plan going into that last restart, and how'd you execute it?
Man, that was so much fun. Just short run speed. I just felt like, you know, we had decent long run speed in the car, but the 74 definitely had a speed on long run speed. I don't know if it was the way I was diamonding the car, just sliding it a little too much, but just felt like my best chance to beat him was on a short run, and I got lucky and got it at the end. You know, I hate to have quite so many restarts at the end, but definitely a blast, and kept me on my toes trying to just keep door to door with him the whole time and not screw up. Like I almost died that one restart.
Well, it was a ton of fun to watch all night. You bring home your first win of the season. And now that you've got the first win out of the way, next up on track next week, you think you got a chance of going back-to-back?
Oh, I like Bristol. I haven't messed with our setup much yet. We're going to be building it some this week and tweaking it, and so I have no idea. Again, I think it's going to be similar with track position. It's just so hard to pass at these short tracks, but a lot of fun. I hope to at least bring some heat. I think Phoenix, despite the mess of the new configuration, everybody's complaints, I think it's somehow one of my better tracks. So I'm glad to finally get a dub here and bring one to the Riot guys. And yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, would love to.
That certainly looked like one of your better tracks here tonight. Well, you got the win. Go celebrate. But before we let you head out, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, first off, big thanks to you, man. Watching the, I know we're new to the league, and watching the broadcast is such a highlight. I love hearing how you analyze everything. You do such a good job. Got to thank my wife, my dad. I know that he's watching back home. My family for watching. They love the broadcast too. Big thanks to my Riot teammates. A couple of them couldn't be here tonight because of family issues, so it really means a lot to get a dub for them. And I know Mraz had kind of a rough race too, and nice to get 2 in a row. Gotta say a big shout out to Sim Coaches for being on the car, being a primary sponsor for us, and Bolify. And don't forget to use code Mueller300 at checkout if you want some bowling jerseys. It's Michael Mueller's sponsor, and he couldn't be here tonight, so I'm really happy to be able to rep them a little bit and get his sponsor plug in.
Thank you for talking to us. Again, congrats on the win first, but certainly not the last. For Quentin Clark, we'll see you next week at Bristol.
Appreciate you.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series presented by the Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists at Phoenix. What a race it was. We had a little bit of everything. Chaos early, good long green flag runs in the middle, and chaos late. But coming out of all of it in the clear is the rookie Quentin Clark captures his first win of the season. We'll be back next week, same place, same time at Bristol Motor Speedway. Boy, is that going to be a chaotic one. You liked what you saw tonight. You are going to love what you'll get to see next week at the High Bank Short Track. That's it for me, Austin Green, here on Ghost Racing Network. I hope you all enjoyed. Till next time, have a good night.